you hear me okay? Barely? All right, well Nancy will tweak it over there if she needs to, I
Well,
think.
we just need everybody to be quiet.
Oh, she says everybody has to be quiet in order for you to hear me.
You always say, does everybody hear me when everyone's talking? And of course, they all say no. Now you could ask us.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We got a full room today. I said to Linda, I wonder if it's budget, you would think this was the budget meeting, because that's always very well attended. So anyways, we'll go ahead with our occupancy as I typically do. In independent living, we're currently 95% occupied and 99% sold. Assisted living is 79% occupied and 84% sold. Health and rehab centers are at 67%, and that's combined. Our June resident numbers, we have 389 residents on campus, 280 independent living. That breaks down to 171 apartments occupied, 49 well actually we're at 50. Sorry, I need to change that. 390, because we are now at 50% occupied in the garden homes, and we have 60 second persons. 50 garden homes. So I'm sorry, correct that. And 60 second persons. We have 66 in assisted living and 43 in the health center. So a total of 390 on campus. Our employee FTEs are 221. That is to a budget of 237. So we do have some open positions. We've really been gaining some ground on the number of open positions that we had. At one time, it was very high. And actually last month we had 37. Currently we have 16 open positions. And then in addition, we have 11 positions that we currently have what we're kind of putting on pause or on hold until our occupancy level is where it needs to be, just for those positions to be able to come in. So our recruiting has been working really well, and we're definitely seeing those in the numbers. Just an update on COVID here in the community. We currently, the transmission rate in Kalamazoo is 24.9%, so still very high, very contagious variant that's out there right now. We have 4 residents in independent living. All 4 of those residents live in the garden homes. And just for those garden home residents that are here with us, those 4 residents that are positive were not at any group activities. So you should not have to worry about testing if you were at any of those group activities. And we have 2 staff are actually positive. One is an agency person, so Kathy just informed me that we're making sure that all agency prior to them starting their shift here with us will be tested. And then we have 1 other staff member in independent living that is positive with COVID. So that's kind of where our numbers are. As you all know, we lifted our restrictions late last week to open dining back up, to open activities back up, and masks are optional, but very, very, very much encouraged. As I said, seems to be a very contagious variant that's going around right now, so it really is best if you're going to be among people to wear your mask, social distance, all of our safety measures that we've had in place for quite some time. We did have our master plan meeting last week, and we really were kind of finalizing some of the plans. And when I talk about this master plan, you know, we're really talking anywhere from maybe 4 to 10 to 12 years out. So it's nothing that is going to be right away. It's the planning stages of, as I said in my resident council meeting, phase 1 does include the new health center. We know that that is first and foremost needed, and then along with that comes some additional independent living, because we need to have some additional apartments to help pay for the new health center. Although we'll be doing a capital campaign for the health center, it's not likely that that campaign will pay for the whole health center. So we did have that meeting. They're finalizing some of the discussion that was had at the meeting. And I don't really have anything to show residents yet. I will show that as soon as I have something that, number one, the board has seen first, because they need to kind of have their sign off of it before I start showing that to any of the residents and staff. So, as I said, it's definitely a master plan that is going to take years and years, and some of those things, may not happen for 10 to 12 years out. So, as soon as I get that and sent to the board, we'll make sure to do a presentation for all of our residents to see that master plan. Just more news, I continue to work on the budget. Right now, it is budget crunch time. I have to have it in front of the board finance committee at 7:30 on Wednesday morning. It's always a real fun meeting to talk about finance. But overall, I think, it's come together really well. I've talked to staff, and I've also been saying all along to you all that with the last year, when we did the second increase for residents, that was to bring everybody who was below minimum wage, or that $15 mark, up to where they needed to be. The other staff didn't receive anything that year, only really what was their annual review, and that's based on merit and how they actually perform on their jobs. So they did not receive any type of a wage adjustment, and so this year we took a hard look at those staff that did not get any type of a wage adjustment last year, and we're kind of getting them back in line with where the wage matrix changes were. We always do a competitive analysis and really look at other areas or other nursing homes in our and independent living, assisted living areas in our greater Kalamazoo area, and just making sure that our wages are competitive, because we certainly want to keep the people that we have, and we want to be able to recruit those as well. So we did do that. That was built into the budget as well, and we will present after the finance committee if they have any additional comments or any requests. We do that at our Wednesday meeting. And then on Friday, we'll present that to the board of directors. And once that's approved, I have my meeting next Wednesday, I believe it is. I know Nancy looked it up last time. It's either 1 or 2 o'clock here in the Kiva. 1 o'clock? So I'll go over the budget with anyone who's interested at that time, just to show you kind of how we build that budget and what it's based on. So that is kind of my news today. Any questions for me before I pass it along? All right. Ashley, you have anything? No? Reagan? No? What? Diana? You're up.
All right. Happy July, everybody. So, this month, I'll just start out with this month's move-ins, and then I will do the drawing for the referral, and then I'm going to talk about reviews, actually.
Would you speak into the microphone a little more?
Thank you, Carl. Sure. Does that better?
Yes.
All right. I'll try to get as close as I can. I'm a little short. So last month we had David Horn move in on the 2nd floor, Ed Backleda on the 3rd floor, Ruby Barnes on the 2nd floor, and we had one new garden homer move in, Judge William Schmang. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of our new residents. So David Horn was born during World War II in Southampton, England, between air raids. So he really came in with a bang. He immigrated with his mother to Michigan in 1946, and then he grew up in Vicksburg and met his wife there in the 4th grade. And so there's some fun little facts to start some conversation with Mr. Horn. Then we also had Ed Backleda move on the 3rd floor. He is a native of Schenectady, New York. He is a veteran of the United States Army, and he plays guitar and would like to form a trio at Friendship Village. So if anybody's interested in starting a trio with Ed, have a chat with him. We also had Ruby Barnes. She was born in Alma, Michigan. Right? Hi, Ruby. Excuse me, she went most of her adult life in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where she came to us from, so she made a little bit of a move. She's a Golden Gopher and a Wolverine as an alumna of both U of M and the University of Minnesota for undergraduate, University of Michigan for graduate degree. And she taught 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade for many years. So welcome, Ruby. Then Judge Schmay out in the Garden Homes. He spent 4 years in seminary studying to be a Roman Catholic priest. He married a nun, is retired Kalamazoo County Circuit Court judge who was instrumental in establishing Michigan's first drug treatment court. So, very interesting people moving in, so thanks for investing in our community. Welcome aboard. We are happy you are here. All right, so next I will do the drawing for the referral program is, for those that don't know, anyone that puts in a name of someone they know that might be interested in Friendship Village and they're not already in our database, they get entered into a drawing each month for $100 off any Friendship Village fund of their choice or their monthly service fee. And if that person moves in, they get $1,000 off their monthly service fee or Friendship Village fund of their choice. So we always appreciate those referrals. And then the only other thing I was going to mention was reviews. So more and more now people are looking up and making decisions based on reviews. We'd like to invite you all, if you are interested in filling out a review if you haven't already, on behalf of Friendship Village about your positive experience. That would be appreciated. So without further ado, I will do the drawing.
Betsy, would you like to do the honors? This is gonna be, sure. Yay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It took me a minute to find. It's actually Gail Fitzpatrick Fox. Congratulations. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait.
Before Diana sits down, I'd like to make a comment. On Saturday evening, 17 of us got on the Friendship Village bus and were driven by Glenn to the Kalamazoo Gilmore Museum, Car Museum, for the concert with the Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra. As we looked at the program, we were excited to read that one of the sponsors for the program on Saturday was Friendship Village. And so those of us sitting together were commenting about that, and then intermission took place, and just before the second half of the program began, there stood Diana on the stage, well, doing a credible job of thanking the symphony and the fact that Friendship Village could partner with them in presenting that concert. And so the only thing that didn't happen is that those of us who were there were not asked to not stand up and shout. We would have been ready if you had asked, Diane.
I will note that next year for sure. I didn't want to put you on the spot. I almost did a shout out to Friendship Village, but I didn't know you wanted to be put on the spot, but now I know. So get ready for that next year. Thank you. That was an incredible honor. And I'll repeat one of the things that I was super grateful for was, the reason that we get to sponsor such great programming is really because of all of you. It is your investment in this community that helps us be able to afford to make those decisions and keep bringing magical moments like that. So I really genuinely appreciate all of that from all of you. So thanks for all of your commitment to Friendship Village. We did it! And thank you for that. And that was a great night. If you missed it, it was incredible. It was really fun.
Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Snook. I'm Director of Administrative Services and Community Outreach. One of my responsibilities is the Extraordinary Impressions program that we have for our staff. And so each month I stand up here and let you know who has won for the previous month. This first one, I could not find a picture. And I wasn't here the day we presented it to him, and I normally am, so I take a picture. But I did not have a picture of Tim Frisbee. But most of you know who he is. He is the maintenance guy that's about this big, and sometimes has a mohawk. But Tim is, he's just been a great asset, especially to a lot of our residents in the garden homes. And Katie Takahashi is the one that put in Tim's name. She mentioned that when she went to the garden one day, she was getting in her trunk to get some tools out, and it started pouring down rain. And so she quickly jumped into her car, forgot to put her trunk lid down, and just sat there in the rain waiting for it to kind of pass. And all of a sudden, she looked in her rearview mirror, and there's Tim looking in her back window, trying to make sure that she was okay, because of course with the rain, her windows were fogged up, and he couldn't tell if she was okay or not. And so she said for him to come out in the rain because he noticed her trunk open really meant a lot to her. And so Tim is one of our winners. And then our second winner is Paulette Sweet. She is a caregiver at Woodside. Last month, Woodside did their annual senior prom, and Paulette took some extra time to go down to the special care unit and help some of those ladies in particular get ready with getting their hair done and getting dolled up to go to their prom. And that's not normally the area in which Paulette works. She just took some time away and went down to help that department and those group of residents. So Paulette is our other winner, and my understanding is she is a superb caregiver all the time and just kind of went out of her way this particular time. So congratulations. Just to kind of remind all of you to put in those nominations for those resident or those staff members who go above and beyond. Your family members can put in nominations, staff members put in nominations for one another, and then of course you and any of our guests. I was told that some of the locations around the building with the nomination forms are empty, so I'll be working on getting those filled back up for you this week. But I appreciate everyone's putting those nomination forms in. Also, just wanted to let all of you know you'll see me at the desk quite a bit this week along with Diane, because Laura is taking a well-deserved vacation this week. So a lot of you may already know that. I think she shared that with many of you, but I'll be at the desk along with Diane off and on this week. Thank you.
everybody. I'm Linda Bailey, the accounting director. And I just wanted they could be nicer, right? I just wanted to let everyone know that we have hired a new biller in our office. I tried to get her to come down here at the last minute, but I see she must not have gotten my text. I was gonna introduce her to you. Her name is Erica, and she is learning the ropes, and she's a little overwhelmed at the moment. All the different things that go on with the health center and IL and Woodside. She is focusing on the health center stuff right now. So you still have Kim Brinkley to look forward to helping you with your IL bills, and then all of us will help you with Woodside or anything else right now. So her name is Erica. If you need any help there, just feel free to call us and we can help you out. Any of us in there will try and help you, but she's going to be your go-to person probably in the next month or so. So if you have any questions about that, we are working on, I'm helping Betsy finishing up budget and all the other fun stuff that we have to do in July. So July's like almost like January all over again for us. So we do W-2s in January, and in July we do other things. But if anybody has any questions for me, I can try and answer them right now. But otherwise, it's pretty much all systems go.
What is Erica's last name?
Weichel. It's W-I-K-L-E. Yep. So other than that, all right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Too close.
So, I know that my monthly meeting, we had to cancel, we're doing some other planning. So I wanted to kind of talk about a few items that are gonna directly relate to everyone here. The asphalt for Ring Road, that is still scheduled for sometime in mid-August. So I don't have a firm date yet, so as soon as I do, I can communicate that to everyone. But just know that that's scheduled, it's on the docket. And including with that is, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same day or time, but the woods paths will be done with the same scheduled company. So we're looking into that. So make sure, as soon as I can, I'm sure Nancy will help kind of get some of that, information out. It's gonna take days to do, and it's gonna take a lot of logistics, trying to get people to move around right. So it's gonna be a lot to it, so just look for those updated notifications. It's long overdue, looking forward to it. Building 5 and Building 4, the siding, that one, again, got material here, plenty on site. I've had 3 contractors drop out, so working on a 4th, just finalizing some of the, what it's gonna be, $1 an hour kind of payment. So working on that one, so it's still there. I've got a lift that we're gonna have here for a couple months, so we're ready to go. I'm just trying to make sure that the contractors can be here on site long enough to get it completed. And that's really been some of the issues. I've got some contractors that can dedicate maybe a day a week. But if we're gonna have a lift here, it's gonna cost some money. I need people to be here, whether, more than just one guy, a couple days a week. So that's been the struggle. Nobody wants to commit. They're busy, I get it. But at the same time, I wanna get some of these things done. So just know that that's out there. You could see those guys at any point in time, ready to pull the trigger and get that lift here. One of the other things, might as well, hear it here. The awnings that are in bad shape. Again, we've gone through 3 or 4 companies. They've come out. Most of them won't even return our phone call back. They're not giving us pricing. So one of the things we talked about was Betsy and I went and looked at them, and we're just going to remove those awnings off the buildings and make sure they're painted up so it doesn't look nasty for at least the meantime. So we'll deal with that somewhere later down the road. So just know that that's there. The other thing I want to tell you is Rebecca Featherstone. Anybody that usually calls us, knows her. She has turned in her notice, so she will be leaving us. they're moving up north, so she found a job that she could do remotely, so her husband's been remote for many years now. So it's something they've been planning, and so it didn't really surprise me when I got it coming through, but, you know, Amy has been doing a lot anyway, so make sure that, you know, if you call down, you can ask directly for Amy as well, or, you know, if you're calling the front desk, they can redirect to her, so. Other than that, so we'll get all the bad stuff out. And then there's Barbara.
Is there anything that the Woods Committee needs to do to prepare for the paving?
Is there anything that the Woods Committee needs to do to prepare? No, really, it is not. There's only really one area that needs to physically be completely removed. But we'll be communicating, you know, when that timeline's gonna happen. And then, you know, the issue we're having is they wanted to come in and make it bigger, make it larger. But that creates more problems for us, moving irrigation, all the lines out there. It's really just the one area that's really gonna be completely ripped up. Most of it can be recovered. So we'll be communicating that.
Thank you.
Brandon, my usual question to you. Each door is very difficult to open if you've got a walker. That outside door is the heaviest one on this campus. And I thought we had approval to have handicapped opening on that door and some other doors as well.
Can you restate the question, please?
Yeah, so I know exactly which one it is. So you're talking H door. So H door does not have a door opener. No. Okay, so I fixed most of them, but so the question, or really a statement, is that H door is hard to open. And that one, I'm not sure we ever talked about physically having a door opener put on there, but that, we can definitely get that to the doctor. So look for that. I'll have to get a quote on that one too. Now, is it unlocking? So when you walk up to it, is it unlocking and swipe in?
No, the inside door is fine, you have to swipe your key. It's the outside door that is extremely heavy.
Okay.
I would be very happy if you
I got it.
or someone takes a look at the outside door.
I got
Thank
you.
you,
We'll definitely look at that one.
I appreciate that.
Outside door to the aquatic courtyard or the outside door to the parking lot? That one is it goes both ways.
It does. Yeah, I'm gonna look at both of them. It's not a biggie. I got it.
Brandon, the outfit doing the asphalting, is it the same one that did the asphalting around, the garden homes?
No, different company, yeah. Yeah, totally different company. They wouldn't even give us a quote, as a matter of fact. So we called multiple times, multiple different companies, you almost have to hound them. They're swamped as well.
How about window cleaning? Has that been scheduled yet?
Yes, it has, very good question. Window cleaning is on the docket. Yeah, given the okay, and again, that's a different company altogether as well. I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks. I know they're trying to get their schedule finalized, but yeah, I've already signed off on that as well. So look forward to that. So we'll get something out as soon as they know the physical dates are gonna be here. And remember, I'm glad you brought it up, which is the guys will be coming around to remove screens. Yeah, usually a day or two ahead of time, and it does take a few days to go through the main campus. So they'll go usually hit buildings 1 and 2, take all the screens out, then hit the next day 3 and 4, and go back and start putting them back in 1 and 2. So it's a good challenge for us, but we have all hands on deck when we do it. Everybody knows what's going on. So look for communication on that one as well. Good call.
You power wash the decks in the garden homes. Are you going to treat them?
Yep. Good, that's actually on my list. So that's, yes, the garden home, we wanted to to make sure that the garden home decks were washed, or power washed out, scrubbed up. It made more financial sense to do the entire garden home itself. So that's what we did. They look fantastic. Company did a good job. But now, yeah, we're working on getting back to actually stain those. Some of them are Trex and don't actually need to be sealed or stained, but the ones that are wood, we are definitely coming back through to stain those up. So that should be a lot faster job now.
How does one get the inside of your windows clean? I know they've done the outside, but I've never had the inside done.
Inside, anytime the housekeeper, you have your housekeeper there, they can do the inside of the windows. And they can do that as a special thing while they're there every couple of weeks.
I didn't understand what you said.
So just tell the housekeeper when they're in there, and they can do it at any given time. You know, that is one of those special things. They're there for blocked out a certain amount of time. You can have them do, you know, other tasks.
So when I schedule it with my housekeeper?
Yep. Okay, I have one more thing. So I'm going to try to end that on a good note. You may have seen some of the concrete around here has been taken care of, especially in the main courtyard. We had, had cones up for quite some time. So that's been repaired. And I wanted to introduce the person that's making some of these things happen by getting some of his contacts. The maintenance supervisor that we hired here has a great background, a strong background in the maintenance side of it, and running companies of this size. So I wanted to introduce him to you today. So you do his face along with his name, and again, feel free to reach out to him at any given moment. So I won't hand out cell phones, but he's been a great person to work with so far, and I think we're all happy he's here. So please give me a warm welcome for Rick Butler.
Oh, I just flew in and my arms are tired. Thank you all for that warm welcome. I'm proud to be here. Like Brandon says, I have lots of years' experience with this.
Speak into the microphone.
First lesson.
And I look forward to honoring all of your needs and making sure everything is done for you. That's part of my position here, is to make sure it gets done. And I just want to say thank you all, and it's a pleasure being here.
On behalf of Ken, we're continuing our segment of the town hall. Allie's going to provide you with a little bit of camera wisdom for moving forward with the library.
So I'm actually going to use the mic because the computer is over here. So I just wanted to show you guys some cool new things about CareMerge. Some of them are new, some of them aren't. First, we started a new item over here on the left. If you end up scrolling down a little bit when you log in, right here under the housekeeping schedule is the Alberta Brown Library info. And when you click this link, it'll take you to Friendship's page of the library, so you can see what books are available for you here, provided through Friendship. When you click on the link, it'll just take you directly to the page under Friendship. You don't need to do anything else, and it'll give you a full, extensive list of our library, which is pretty nice, so you don't have to come down and use the computer we have. You can use your own. I also wanted to show you, since Teresa talked about it. Oh, yes. So I also have this instructions tab, under my Alberta Brown Library, and this will tell you how to use the self-service station that is located down here in the library to physically check out the books. So if something, you're getting caught up, no one's here to give you a hand. Sometimes, like Richmond isn't always here, Ken isn't always here. You can get on CareMerge and try and figure it out yourself if you would like. Of course, we always have our librarians around to give you a hand as well, if you can catch them. But this is just another way to help yourself, and you don't need to hunt anyone down this way. But the other thing I wanted to show you guys was my forms. So a little bit further up under forms, that is where all of this information is located. So, like Teresa said, some of the gen nominations might have been low in some areas and you really wanted to submit a gen nomination, you can print it out yourself. And then you can fill out the form and return it into those boxes the same way. Same for transportation requests. You can print these out and turn them into the front desk. You don't need to wait for the front desk to open to get the form. Of course, you still have to wait for them to open to turn it in, but this way you can kind of do things as they pop up and not need to worry about, oh, I need to tell Diane about 17 appointments that I forgot to tell her about, or something like that. Kind of helps you keep on track. I also wanted to point out, I'm sure everybody has their parking pass by now, but in case someone doesn't, you can grab the form on here as well, fill that out and turn it into maintenance so your car's all registered properly. I think that's all I really have for CareMerge this week. Yes.
Are there particular hours when somebody's manning the library?
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Have any of our librarians here? Jean's back there. Are there certain hours that, no? Pat's here certain hours, isn't she?
Mara's right here.
We haven't set a schedule yet of the librarians to be there, but if you are in need of help, call one of us, and one of us would come down and help you. There's a page of directions right there on the library, and it's very simple to do once you've done it once. But you need to have your number card, and we have those down there at the library.
So, if you didn't hear Moira, there isn't a set schedule just yet for the librarians, but you can find either Moira or Jean. Their phone numbers are here in the staff or resident directory, so you guys can look that up and give them a call if you would like, as well as, usually it's a pretty easy process once you get it under your belt and are shown how to do it, so you can get a tutorial from them really quick and hopefully be set from there on out.
Is Pat here on certain days? Is Pat still here on Mondays and Thursdays?
She's here on Monday.
On Mondays. So Pat Roach is here on Mondays. That's another resource.
What time?
What time is she generally here on Mondays?
It varies, but, she usually is here for the afternoon hour.
Yeah, that's what I thought, in the afternoon. So chances are if you come somewhere between 1 and 3, you'll catch her there. Yeah. Any other questions?
I have one more question of the library. It was mentioned that we needed the number card. Is that the Kalamazoo library card?
Yes, that's the number.
Okay, thank you.
No, there's cards that Laura has at the front desk, right? She has cards for the library. I thought they were giving out a card. Someone came down there to give one. All right, without Ken here, we don't have a lot of library knowledge. So.
Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that this week.
All right, we'll get answers to those questions.
Yeah, I'll have Ken send out a connections matters, just so everybody has the understanding of what to do with the library and how that works. I think that'll be helpful. I wrote down the notes as to what the questions were, so.
Oh, okay, thanks.
All right, there was one thing that, kind of popped into my mind when I was sitting and listening to everybody. One of the new changes that we have done, and typically we don't like an automated system, we really like for somebody to be picking up the phone. But part of the concerns that we've had is the number of calls that the health center receives after business hours that typically are never for the health center, because they're the only reception person that's actually there to answer the phone. And sometimes the receptionist or the unit clerk is gone, and the nurses are on the floor, and the phone rings and rings and rings, which is also not a very good customer service procedure. So we did decide after business hours to have Laura or Diane forward the phone to our automated system, which if you were to call the front desk after business hours, you'll receive a very nice greeting that just explains that if you are trying to reach home health, to press this number. If you are trying to reach security, press this number. If you are trying to reach the health center, I think it has called this number. So it's not overwhelming. It's very, there's only a selection of maybe 4 or 5 that you could call at that time. But we just felt that for the number of calls that we're going to the health center that are just never for the health center, and the nurses are always busy, you know, with the residents there, taking their time away from the residents to answer, you know, phone calls for maybe home health or security or something else, you know, wasn't really great practice either. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, just in case you do call the front desk phone after hours. You know that you'll get that automated system that will direct you to whoever it is that you need to speak to. So let me know if there's any concerns that come from that.
This is just a bit of information for those who shop at Walgreens on Drake and West Main. I went in there about a month ago, first COVID visit, and there was one cart, and it was being used. And I need one for support, and also to put all my grocery items in. And I talked to the person in the customer service area, and her response was, oh, they got rid of them all. So when I was back in the pharmacy area, I talked with the manager, and her response was, oh, they were all stolen. And I looked at her and I said, I don't believe you. But in any event, I called their headquarters, and now they have 2 carts. And I'm gonna keep on them, because you can't just go in there and pick up a bunch of items without having something to hold them. So if anybody who shops there and is not able to get a cart, bug them on the phone. Thank you.
I can do that. Yeah.
My name is Arda. I have a question regarding those phone numbers for after hours. Is building maintenance going to be part of that? We had a water problem over the weekend. I'm one of those who tried 4 different numbers. I'm one of those who had to call the health center to find somebody who could put in a work order to get someone to come and take care of it.
Security should have been answering the phone.
Nobody answered.
Nobody
any
answered their
place.
phone. Okay.
Said during the day.
Oh, this was during the day?
On the weekend, yes.
On the weekend during the day?
Yes.
On the weekend during the day, I would call the front desk.
There's nobody answering. You get the cute little answering.
So it was after 3 on the weekend. Okay, so I'm just trying to connect when it was to try to narrow that down a little bit. Okay, so after 3, if you got that message and you hit the security, they should have answered. It goes directly to their cell phone.
This was not,
What's
this
that
was
number?
before you said it.
When did this happen? This weekend?
Yes.
Okay, so you could
And
not.
Rick very nicely called me yesterday morning to make sure the problem had been taken care of.
Who did?
Rick.
I called her this morning
Oh.
to make sure, because there was a voicemail on my phone.
Oh, okay, So-
back to see if it got.
Somehow you got the call,
Yeah, it went into my phone and my
went to your phone.
That was one of them I called and nobody answered.
Oh, that was one. She called several numbers. Rick's was one of the numbers.
Do you have an echo in your apartment?
They have an echo dot.
The dot?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
You can also use that and just use the magic word and say, call security.
And that gets put back.
Use the magic word, call home help. And it will automatically dial that number for you, but all of those numbers go directly to their cell phone. When you called the number on the cell phone, there, the different numbers, was there a answering machine or a voicemail? There was. Did you leave a voicemail on security's phone?
But we needed help now.
Yeah, that was an emergency. Yeah. Well, that's why we have it go directly to their cell phone, because they should be answering it, so we need to look into that and find out. Can you tell me about what time you called it?
That was 3 days ago.
Okay.
It was Sunday after
Sunday.
3.
Sunday after 3. Okay, I've not heard, and if anybody else has experienced anything similar, please let me know, but as far as we've had those going to the cell phones, we've not had any concerns with people not answering them, so we will check that out and find out why the cell phone wasn't answered. Security was here, and they should have answered the cell phone and came up directly, so even though they're not considered a maintenance person, they are trained to take care of some of those things, so, we'll find out.
Sounds like it was before 4. So,
And after 3.
so maintenance was here, not security. So they don't pick, the security doesn't pick up the cell phones at 4.
So there's
Okay, so we have an opportunity to make a correction in our system, obviously, and thanks for bringing that to our attention, because I think we've got an hour that, you're calling those phone numbers and it's not going to anybody, so 3 to 4 p.m. is what we've identified. So
We
thank you,
also-
Artis, for bringing that to us.
That's only on.
We also had a water emergency this weekend, and it was after hours, and we called security, and they called the on-call maintenance person, he came in.
Was security able to shut the water off at least until?
Well, it didn't need to be shut off right away, but there was, it needed to be mopped up pretty deep in the kitchen.
Okay. So the maintenance person came in and
Took care of that.
took care of it.
And then they came back again the next day.
Yeah, and really, I mean, that's security's role if they don't know anything more than just shutting off a valve, which is most likely, at least they can take care of the immediate, and then that is the on-call person's job to come in and take care of that, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So they took care of that properly. Yay. Anything else? Nancy?
Would you clarify the selection process for the new director? I understand that there are 5 interviews and the candidates would go through, and then a chosen candidate would be presented to our board of directors. Is that the full board of directors, or is it a subset? And if it's a subset, is there a resident representative involved?
So you're correct when you said that there were 5 interviews, and this is for the selection of the new executive director. There are 5 interviews that Life Care Services goes through, and they then choose one candidate to present to the entire board of directors. The board of directors, it's the entire board of directors, it's not just the executive committee. So everybody is, and the board of directors actually can Typically what happens is it would go into a closed session at the end of a board meeting. Or if they had a different session because it just didn't line up with the schedule of when the board meetings are, they might hold a special board meeting. And it's up to the board, the executive board, whether or not they would like to have their resident representatives there. I don't know, I'm trying to think of, the selection was a little bit different when I was brought in as executive director. So I never really sat with the board of directors for the final approval. I actually met with the executive board, and then they presented to the board their recommendations. So, but Cheryl Strickland, who's our director of operations, that is exactly her process, is the five interviews, and then it goes to the entire, their one candidate is presented to the entire board of directors. Anything else anyone wants to chat about? Oh.
Yes, I was just wondering if we're gonna get a new fitness director.
Yes, I can answer that. Ken sent me a message on Friday that NIPS has identified 2 possible candidates who will be coming into our community this week to speak with Ken, probably meet with some of us on life enrichment team. So hopefully, out of these 2 candidates they have for us, one will fit the bill.
Just a question about guest rooms. This happened twice in guest room 176 when my family, this was a week ago Thursday, the television was not working. We called that number for Centrix that you're supposed to call if it's after hours. They were really kind, they talked a long time, but they didn't make the television come on. What do you do after hours? Just wait till the next day or something?
Yeah, they should have been able to help with that process, but I don't know,
Because we call that posted number if it's after hours.
yeah, you definitely did the right thing because they are the ones to help guide you through that after hours, but we'll definitely take a look at that one.
Thank you. The next day, I don't know, the next day was Friday and we located somebody then to turn it on.
Yeah, they, as Brandon just said, if the person at Centrix it's not working after they've walked you through a process, then they should have escalated it to their next step. So unfortunately, I don't know if that sounds like it didn't happen. Yeah, you're welcome.
I've had that happen 2 or 3 times. Always happens on a weekend. And you go and you call them and they don't do anything.
In the guest room?
No,
Or your
in regular residence. They just, usually they'll tell you to reboot it. And if that doesn't work, they can't do anything. They'll have to wait till Monday.
Okay.
I have a suggestion. I think we as a facility need to learn how to correctly use the microphones. These are much more receptive because you can get it closer, and that's how the sound travels. Those microphones up there, you can't get close enough for the sound to travel well. And when a person has a soft voice, they need to really have this microphone up close.
I agree, but I think it's the user themselves a little bit, because we will have people use this and they start doing this. Or if you're like me and talk with your hands, it's really difficult to do that. So I think it's dependent on kind of who the user is and somebody there to remind them to please speak clearly into the microphone or get up close when somebody's speaking softly.
Well, I always wait for the villager to come out, because that's how I learn
what happened in this meeting.
So you've not been able to hear any of us up here?
Maybe 70% of it was not clear.
Do you have, we do also have the headphones that you can use?
I have a hearing deficit, but it's not severe. And different voice tones carry better than others. And I'm using my outside voice now. If I use my inside voice, you really can't hear me that well.
Have you tried the headset before, Gail? I mean, they are for,
I'm in the process of being evaluated by the VA for hearing aids.
okay. Yeah, try the headset even without the hearing aids. I think you might be surprised.
A lot of people say they help a lot. Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's right in, no matter how soft you are, when you've got the headset on, it goes right into your ears.
Now, your voice travels beautifully with that mic.
So we would like to invite all of you to introduce yourself to our new residents and enjoy some cookies and punch outside of the Kiva here. And, oh, I'm sorry, there was another question?
Yeah. I could just do this first one,
I've mentioned it twice to security now, and to a lot of other people too, Laura and stuff. If I have a guest coming in and you read the signs, my room is not even on the sign. You get down to where T falls there. It doesn't go to 177. And I've had guests come and then other people have directed them to where I live.
In the directory that's in the vestibule?
It's the little plaques.
Something about signs on the wall.
Tell you, go this way or that way.
The one by the mailbox?
No, at the intersections of the buildings, like past my office, it'll say.
Oh, the
173
wayfinding
this way.
signs?
Yes.
Okay. So you're talking about the wayfinding signs, like how to get to your apartment? Okay. We're actually in the process of we need new wayfinding signs. So we're in the process of doing that, so I know that was brought up before, so I understand that it's on